Hello students, today let us begin the second lesson from Geography, Indian Physiography. In the Indian Physiography, today we are going to learn about Northern Mountain and Northern Great Plain. As you all know, India is a vast country and it has a variety of landforms. They include mountain, plateau, plains, valleys and the coastal plain. It means that India from north to south and east to west, it's not same. It comprises mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys and coastal plain. These have influence on the river system, climate, natural vegetation, land use, agriculture, transport, distribution of population. So due to the variety of landforms, it has influenced on the river system of India, climatic condition, natural vegetation, land use, agriculture, transport, distribution of population. Now, let us see physiographic divisions of India. Physiographic division means the physical features of India. On the basis of physiography, India can be divided into four major divisions. The physical feature of India classified into four divisions. They are the northern mountains, the northern Great Plain, the peninsular plateau, the coastal plains and the island. Today, let us learn about the northern mountains and the northern Great Plains. First, let us see about the northern mountain. Northern mountain comprises of Himalayas, which are a group of young-fold mountain. Why it is called young-fold mountain? Because it was newly formed comparing to the other mountains of the world, means 2 million years ago. They extend as a continuous chain along the northern boundary of India. They are the highest mountain ranges in the world. They have highest peaks, deep valleys, gorges, glaciers, passes, etc. Peak already you will be knowing. Valley means a low area of land between hills or the mountain. What is the meaning of gorges? Gorges means a narrow valley between the hills or mountain, typically with the steep rocky walls and stream running through it. Glacier means a large mass of ice that move slowly. So, here in the Himalayan mountain, there had a highest peaks, deep valleys, gorges, glaciers and passes. In India, they extended from the Indus Gorge in the west to the Brahmaputra Gorge in the east for 2,400 km. Look at the map. Indus Gorge in the west side to the Brahmaputra Gorge in the east for how much kilometer? 2,400 km. Its width. First I have told the length. Now the width varies from 250 to 320 km. They broader in the west and narrower in the east. By seeing the map you can understand. To the west, the Himalayan mountain or northern mountain is broader and to the east it is narrow. They covered an area of about 5 lakh square kilometer. Generally, they have steep slopes towards India and gentle slope towards the Tibet. The northern mountain consists of 3 parallel ranges. Parallel means you know the similar ranges. The northern mountain comprises or the Himalayas consist of 3 parallel ranges. They are Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas and Sivalik Hills. Once again I will repeat. The Himalayas consist of 3 parallel ranges. They are Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas and Sivalik Hills. Now let us study about each and each three ranges of the Himalayas. First, the Greater Himalayas. They are the innermost, continuous and highest range. Which is the highest range in the northern mountain? That is Greater Himalaya. So, the Greater Himalayas are the innermost, continuous and highest ranges. The average height of this range is 6,100 meter. The average height of this Greater Himalaya is 6,100 meter. These ranges have many high peaks. So almost all the high peaks are there in the Greater Himalayas. As you all know, which is the highest peak in the world? Yes, Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Its height is 8,848 meter. So it is the highest peak in the world, that is in the Greater Himalayas of Himalayan mountain. The other peaks are Kanchanajunga, its height is 8,559 meter. Then Maklu, its height is 8,481 meter. Dhaulagiri, its height is 8,172 meter. Then Manslu, its height is 8,156 meter. Another most important peak in Himalaya or the Greater Himalaya, that is Nanda Devi. So here you have to remember the world's highest peak, that is in the Greater Himalayas. These ranges have many high peaks. They are the home of many glaciers such as Gangotri and Yamunotri glacier. As I told, glacier means a large mass of ice that move slowly. So there are many passes such as Burzil, Lozila, then Shivkila, etc. The passes that are there in the Greater Himalayas. K2, look at the map. K2, yellow circled. The K2, look at the map. You can understand by seeing that. They may ask in the exam to locate the K2. So the mountain lying to the northwest of the Himadri are called Trans-Himalayas. The mountain lying to the northwest of Himadri are called Trans-Himalayas. They consist of Karakoram range, where the highest peak K2 or Mount Godwin Austen is located. So K2 is also called as a Mount Godwin Austen. That is in which range? That is in the Karakoram range. It is the highest peak in India. Suppose if they ask which is the highest peak in India, that is K2 or Mount Godwin Austen. Which is the highest peak in the world? That is Mount Everest. Next, the second parallel range of northern mountain, the Lesser Himalayas. Now let us see about the Lesser Himalayas. These ranges are located to the south of the Greater Himalayas. They are also known as Himachal. These Lesser Himalayas also called as a Himachal. They are 60 to 80 km wide and 1500 to 4500 meter high. The eastern part is covered with the forest. The eastern part of Lesser Himalaya is covered with the forest area. They are next, that is Sivalik range. The third important range of northern mountain, Sivalik Hills. Sivalik Hills are called as outermost range or foothills of Himalaya. Why they are called as outer Himalayas? Because they are the outermost ranges or the foothills located to the south of the main Himalayas. So they are known as outer Himalayas. Why it is called as a Sivalik range is called as a foothills of Himalaya? Because of its less height. The height comparing to the Greater Himalayas and the Lesser Himalaya, the height of the Sivalik hills is less. So because of the less height, these Sivalik hills are called as foothills of Himalaya. They are the lowest range of the Himalayas with the height of 600 to 1500 meters and width varying from 15 to 150 km. They extend from Jammu and Kashmir in the west to the Arunachala Pradesh in the east. Look at the map. So the Sivalik range extends from Jammu and Kashmir in the west and Arunachala Pradesh in the east. The lesser Himalayas, they contain many valleys such as Kashmir Valley, Kangra Valley, Kulu Valley, etc. These are also need for hill stations such as Shimla, Ranikhet, Mussoorie, Nainital and Darjeeling. I have forgot to tell you, in the lesser Himalaya there had many number of most famous hill stations such as Shimla, Ranikhet, Mussoorie, Nainital and Darjeeling. In exam they may ask, name the famous hill station which are there in the Himalayas or in the lesser Himalaya. They are Shimla, Ranikhet, Mussoorie, Nainital and Darjeeling. Now, let us see about the importance of Himalayas. Before that, I have told you the northern mountain is classified into 3 parallel ranges. They are Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas and Shivalik Himalayas. Right? So, the Greater Himalayas are the innermost continuous and highest ranges, and it is also called as a Himadri because it is covered with the ice. Then the lesser Himalayas, it is also called as a Himachal. Then the Shivalik Hill. Shivalik Hill is called as a foothills of Himalaya because of its less height. Now, why the Himalaya or Himalayan mountain is important, or what are the uses of Himalayan mountain? First one, it prevents the foreign invasion. The Himalayas act as a natural frontier and it prevents the foreign invasion. So, because it is like a wall, it prevents the invasion from the foreigners. So, it is a naturally boundary or natural frontier to our country. So, it prevents the foreign invasion and it prevents the cold wind from the Central Asia. From the Siberia is in Central Asia, from there cold winds used to blow towards India. So due to or because of the Himalayan mountain, it prevents the cold wind which is blowing from the Central Asia. Then obstruct the rain bearing winds and this causes the heavy rainfall. Then it is the slope have a thick forest. So variety of plants and trees are there in the Himalayas. So it is the slopes of a thick forest. Then this place is good for the plantation crops. Plantation crops, tea, coffee, rubber, etc. So the Himalayan mountain is useful for the plantation crops, and it's a storehouse of minerals. Different kinds of minerals are available in the Himalayas. So it is a storehouse of minerals and the birthplace of many rivers. You know that Ganga, Yamuna, these are the most famous river which take the birth in Himalayas. Then due to the rivers, the water which is flowing towards downwards, it helps for the generation of hydroelectric power. So these are the uses or importance of Himalayas. Once again I will repeat, the importance of Himalayas are prevent the foreign invasion, they prevent the cold winds from Central Asia, then obstruct the rain bearing winds and this causes the heavy rainfall. Then slopes have a thick forest, it's good for the plantation crops, it's a storehouse of minerals, it is the birthplace of many rivers and it helps for the generation of hydroelectric power. So this is about the first important physiographic division of India, that is northern mountain. Next, about the second most important physiographic division of India, that is the northern Great Plain, which is that northern Great Plain. This northern Great Plain lies between Himalayas and the peninsular plateau of India. Look at the map. Yellow color it is a peninsular plateau. The green color, that is a northern Great Plain. Okay, so up you know that is the Himalayan mountain. So you can understand by seeing the map, this northern Great Plain lies between the Himalayas and the peninsular plateau. It's formed by the depositional work of 3 river systems, namely Sutlej, Ganga and Brahmaputra. So obviously that land will become fertile due to the flow of 3 important rivers. They are Sutlej, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Or they may ask, name the 3 important rivers which are flowing in the northern Great Plain. That is Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra. It is the largest alluvial soil tract in the world. Next, existing the east to west, its length is 2500 kilometer. Then average width varies from 250 to 340 kilometer. Covers an area about 7 lakh square kilometer. The plain is very flat and rocks are not exposed on the surface. This plain is very fertile and it's a very flat. What are the importance of Northern Great Plain? Why this Northern Great Plain is important? Very suitable for agriculture. As I told, this Northern Great Plain is formed by the three important rivers, which are Satluj, then Brahmaputra, and one more, Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Because of these three rivers, Northern Great Plain has formed. Obviously, this plain is very fertile, so it is best suited for the agriculture and suitable for transport and communication. When the place is suitable for the agriculture, obviously people will settle in that area. So automatically transport and communication also developed in this area. So it is suitable for the transport and communication. Then many number of industries are established in this place. So it is useful for the industrialization and urbanization. Due to the development of industries and urbanization, trade also developed in this area, and many number of pilgrimage centers are located in this area. Pilgrimage centers mean the religious centers. For example, Haridwara, Varanasi, Bodh Gaya, Vaishno Devi are the famous pilgrimage center which are there in the Northern Great Plain. So these are the importance of the Northern Great Plain. So once again I will repeat, Northern Great Plain is very important because it's suitable for the agriculture, it is suitable for the transport and communication, it is useful for industrialization and urbanization, and it helps for the development of trade, and it's the place of many number of pilgrimage center. So I hope you all understood the two most important physiographic divisions of India. They are Northern Mountain and the Northern Great Plain. Thank you, students.